Welcome to the Queer Confidence Podcast, the podcast to help you become your most confident queer self. I'm your host, he, she, they, Coach Alex Ray, and I haven't always been this confident. In fact, I used to be super insecure. And through this show, I want to share with you what's worked for me, my clients, and my guests so that you can become more confident. Hey, queer friends. How are you? Are you ready to talk about drinking? Come on, let's do it. Nothing like a good drinking episode to poop on the party of Pride Month. But here we go. We are going to do it. We're going to talk about drinking. And this is just such a lovely conversation. And I've had a lot of different stages of different relationships with alcohol. So I'm excited to share my journey with you as well, because I'm pretty sure no matter where you are, I have had something similar to you. And so I just want you to know whatever your relationship is with alcohol right now, it's fine. I'm not here to judge you. And in fact, of course, as you've heard me say before, self-judgment is never an effective means of change. And so I want you to, wherever you are within your relationship with drinking, just soak in today's episode and decide at the end what you actually want to go do and take away from it. Okay? So I want to start by just saying, or asking rather, a question. I really want to ask you, why do you drink? I know why I used to drink. Why do you drink? Look, the reason, if you're really honest with yourself, that we drink is to buffer away our emotions. Yes, it's to have fun and to lighten up and to enjoy the party and whatever. Like, we drink to enjoy ourselves and have fun, but really we drink. Why do we think we have to have the drink to enjoy ourselves? Because we're trying to avoid the negative feelings that we're sure will come up if we don't have the alcohol. The reason we drink, my friend, is to get rid of negative emotion. And I used to use alcohol as a way of avoiding a lot of my self-judgment. I used to use it as a way of getting out of the internal dialogue that I had that was real negative and unkind to myself, and have fun. I also noticed that it started becoming a thing where when I was real stressed out, I was concerned that, or I'm sorry, I'm skipping out of myself. Let me get on the same sentence brain. Okay. So when I was feeling real negative emotion, when I was feeling a lot of fear around or anxiety, I would go, oh, you know what I could do? I could have a drink. And that would help me relax right now and just be present. And then what I was starting to say as I was getting ahead of myself is that what I started to realize and be concerned about was I have a lot of relatives who are addicted to drinking. I have a lot of alcoholic relatives, and I did not want to end up becoming alcohol dependent. And so I became very wary of that and started monitoring and realizing, like, okay, hold on. If I'm feeling horrible, I want to not drink right now. Now, here's the funny thing about alcohol, right? It is a depressant. And so you tell yourself that when you're anxious and depressed, the best idea is definitely to take something, to ingest something that will make the depression better? No. Worse. I mean, it helps for a moment. But in the long run, it just extends or worsens the depression, right? And then you end up starting to get in a pattern of, oh, let me keep drinking in order to feel better and to maintain this sort of high that I've artificially created here, where I'm ignoring the negative feelings and I'm feeling okay, I'm sort of stable. So alcohol, we know, I don't really need to educate you on it. We know that it's a depressant, but we know that it helps us ignore feelings in the moment. Drinking allows us to not feel. That's what it does for us. And that's why we like it. So why the hell not drink? What on earth is the benefit to not drinking? The benefit to not drinking is you start allowing discomfort. Remember step 1 of building confidence, of becoming confident? It's to allow discomfort. And so if right now you're saying, okay, I don't want to stop drinking because I know that I will be overwhelmed by these things. Yeah, that's the point. Because when you keep using drinking as the escape method, you become really great at drinking, not good at feeling. You either practice feeling or you practice drinking. Whichever one you practice, you will get better at. So it's your choice. If you want to get to a place where you are able to deal with your emotions and feel them and not be overcome by them or freaked out by them, if you, my friend, do indeed want to become confident, alcohol is not the way you deal with negative feelings. And nothing is. Nothing is. We don't spend time with friends. We don't go on Grindr. We don't binge Netflix. We don't overwork and hustle. We don't underwork and do nothing. We don't use these things to manage our emotions, to make ourselves feel better, to escape feeling bad. We don't use them because we don't need to. Because we've decided we're going to experience life. We are going to experience discomfort. We are signing up, my friend. That is what you're doing. You are signing up to feel. And we don't get to pick and choose which of those feelings we feel. We either feel them all or we suppress them all. So if you, again, want to build confidence, we stop using things to manage our feelings, because in order to become good at managing your feelings and living through them and surviving them and feeling comfortable with feeling discomfort, you have to first practice feeling discomfort. How do you get good at anything? Through practice. I was terrible at feeling. I hated to feel negative emotion, and I always wanted an easy way to skip out and get to the next thing. And that is why I liked to use drinking as a coping mechanism before. I had to stop before I actually felt real comfortable feeling so that I could practice it, though. And that, my friend, is what you're going to have to do too. Now, do you have to quit drinking forever? No. And some of you might not at all ever be using drinking as a coping mechanism. Maybe. There's probably one of you listening that's like, I really am okay. I drink like once in a blue moon because I'm just enjoying it. Be honest with yourself here. Actually ask yourself. You know the answer. So I'm not going to lecture any of you. So in order to build your confidence, we let go of drinking. We let go of any number of things. Again, binging Netflix or spending too much time with friends or hustling in work. We can use all of these things to give us purpose and identity or to avoid feeling bad. And so you don't have to give up those things forever, because here's the thing. None of them are bad in themselves. Drinking is not bad in and of itself. Alcohol is not bad in and of itself. I'm not a party pooper. Alcohol, and in my opinion, some of it tastes real good. I love a good Cabernet or a nice red blend. A couple of my favorite wines are Caymus, which I haven't had in several years, and The Prisoner. I love The Prisoner Wine Company. A lot of their wines are delicious, and I actually have had some recently. Here's the inside scoop. I've drank 3 times in the last year and a half. And did that because I wanted to. That's it. I did it because I knew that I was using alcohol in a way that was helping me avoid feeling negative feelings. And I needed, in order to be the person I want to be, I needed to be great at feeling all of the feelings. And so that meant giving up alcohol. And so what happened for me was towards the end of 2019, I decided, hey, I'm going to take a break from alcohol. I don't know how long it'll be. I'm just not going to drink. It's going to be an indefinite thing that I'm going to sign up for. And I'm doing it for my own growth. I'm doing it because I'm signing up to feel awful. I know that I'm not going to feel great for a while. And then by the time the pandemic hit, I had been without drinking for about 4 months. And a magical thing happened. I didn't think about drinking to handle the pandemic. I remember there was one time in the last year where I was real freaked out by something. I think it was maybe a couple months into the pandemic, and there was a lot of life circumstances coming up, and I was like, oh my God, could really use a drink right now. And that was literally the last time I've thought about that. Because I was like, no, that's not who I am. I don't use drinking to manage my emotions. My friend, if you want to become the secure, confident queer that I know you want to be, and you are currently using alcohol as a way of managing the negative feelings, it might be time to take a break. And it doesn't have to be with like forever. And it doesn't have to be with a certain end date in mind. Choose what's going to help you best. If you need to say, hey, I'm going to take 6 months and that's going to be my thing, great. Here's my recommendation. Instead of making it about the not drinking, make it about the growth. Make it about the personal expansion. Because when you're focusing on the not drinking, here's the next 6 months, I'm going to not drink for 6 months. You're thinking about drinking the whole fucking time. You just keep thinking, don't drink yet. Don't drink yet. I've got 3 more weeks till I can drink. I've got 2 more weeks till I can drink. Oh my gosh, I'm finally done with this thing. I can finally drink again, right? And so use a method for you, whether it's setting an end date, if that'll be helpful for you. My recommendation is it probably will not be. Or do what I did and make it indefinite. Just say, I'm just taking a break for now. I don't know when I'll drink again. I don't know. Because it's not about focusing on not drinking. It's about focusing on, here's my personal growth time. I'm signing up for an indefinite period of time to feel my feelings, whatever comes up. Because I want to get really great at feeling awful feelings and being okay with them. I want to get really great at experiencing discomfort and not being uncomfortable with it being uncomfortable. I want to be really great at having stressful life circumstances come up and go, it's supposed to feel stressful. And I know how to feel stressed. I've got it. I'll move through it. That shit sounds confident. That is being fully you. When we drink, we hide us. We hide ourselves from others, and we hide ourselves from ourselves. We're looking to escape from these bad emotions that are coming up, but we're experiencing them. If you hide from the negative emotions, you're also hiding from you. Life is 50-50, my friend. It is half fucking amazing and half a pile of shit. And we get to choose whether we're going to sign up to experience all of it or whether we're going to buffer it away, push it in a corner, and eventually deal with it only when it's such a huge pile that we can't ignore it anymore. So if you're ready to go on this journey of giving drinking a break, here's the things to keep in mind. First, again, don't make it about the drinking. Don't make it about the not drinking, because by focusing on the not drinking, you're still focusing on the drinking. Make it about the personal growth and expansion, focusing on that. Hey, I am signing up to feel all the feelings. Then you have something you're working towards instead of something you're working against. You don't have to have an unhealthy relationship with something not to do it. And the reason I say this is because what your brain is going to want to do is come up with all kinds of reasons to explain to people or explain and justify to yourself for why you're not drinking. Look, some of you don't like skydiving. You could just not like that. I love it. I love skydiving. But you don't have to have an unhealthy relationship with skydiving in order to not do that. You could just be like, I don't like jumping out of planes. I don't like being up high. It doesn't mean that something's wrong with you. No. You just choose not to do it because you just don't want to. You're not interested in it. So just because you decide not to drink does not mean that you have an unhealthy relationship with it. It can just mean you have decided that something else aligns better for you and who you are or who you are becoming. And that something else would be, hey, I'm taking a break so that I can really experience all the feelings. I'm signing up to feel them. Can't wait. It's going to be awful. But you know what else is awful? Hangovers. Hangovers are fucking awful. So my friend, again, 50-50 of life. Which 50-50 do you want? Be honest with yourself. Which one do you want? Do you want the 50-50 where you don't have to feel bad in the moment and then the next day you feel like ass and all of the emotions come rushing back, compounded by even more depression from the depressant that you drank the night before? Or do you want to sign up for the 50-50 where like you feel awful in the moment as you experience negative, uncomfortable emotions, but you feel them all the way through and then you're done with them? And like I said before, we can't selectively numb emotion. So when you numb your negative emotions, you also numb the positive emotions. When you shut yourself off from feeling bad, right? When you get drunk, you don't even remember the next day. All the nice, you're just assuming it must have been a really nice night. I don't remember any of it. So that's my challenge to you, is to question for yourself, which 50-50 do you want to sign up for? Again, doesn't have to be permanent. Make, though, a decision. Here's what I'm going to do, and either put a timeline on it, or if you're like me, and that'll just help you focus on, I'm not doing it, I'm not doing it, I'm not doing it, I'm not doing it, I'm not doing it. So all of your brain is focusing on the alcohol. Just make it indefinite. It's so much easier. So much easier. I just don't drink now. I don't know how. I'll come back to it eventually. I don't know when. I don't know. Here's the other thing that I know you're concerned about is how to deal with the people who are going to ask you, right? People ask me all the time. And I used to be very concerned about it. And when I had previously taken, before this indefinite break that started in 2019, I had gone in and out of drinking several times, and I did it for health reasons. And so I would tell people, oh, I'm like doing it for my fitness, right? And it was a nice little excuse, but also I was kind of like the stuck up fitness person in the room. Here's what I highly recommend you do instead. And this is what I did for the maybe first year or so, after maybe less than that, maybe like 6 months or so, is I just didn't give an explanation. Go figure. Wait, what? You're allowed to do that? Yes. You're allowed to give zero explanation. I'm taking a break because I want to. Oh, I decided to take a break from drinking. That's it. When somebody asks you at the party, why are you not drinking? I just decided to take a break. It ends the conversation quick. They go, oh, okay, done. That's it. And if they ask for an explanation, you are welcome to give them an explanation that you feel accurately describes it for you. For me, it was, I'm taking a break for my mental health. Done. There's no reason to give everyone all of the details. You don't have to. You don't need to explain yourself, just like you don't need to explain why you don't go skydiving or any of number of other things that you don't do. Now that I had gone through that phase, now that I still don't drink, when someone asks me, oh, you don't drink? I go, which, by the way, is way less common than you would think. I was very afraid everyone would be asking me. They don't. But they do, and they don't, right? It's not as frequent as I was concerned about, but it happens. People ask, and I go, oh, yeah. And then I tell them a little story. I say, I stopped drinking because I wanted to do it for my mental health. I realize that when we drink, we avoid feeling. And I want to be a person who gets really good at feeling and not freaked out by my emotions. So I've decided to take a break from alcohol. I don't know when I'll drink again. I don't even feel like it anymore. And that's the truth. And what ends up happening is usually they either have a conversation or they don't. They're like, oh boy, right? I don't care. And we move quickly to another topic, or they're curious. And that's the fun thing, is I get to help others see the same perspective. Oh, maybe they want to do that too. Here's what I can tell you is going to happen on the other side. I don't desire it anymore. I literally do not care about drinking anymore. I really thought that was impossible. And if you're in that same place, I hear you. I know, like, what? Are you sure I won't like it anymore? Yeah. I feel so indifferent to it now. It's like, okay, someone asked me to drink. If I want to drink, I'm like, no, or I don't really want it. I don't have a desire for it anymore. Now, recently, and this is so perfect timing, a couple weeks ago, there was a wine tasting locally for the Prisoner Wine Company. I had some friends that were going to it, and I was like, oh my gosh, that wine has so much nostalgia for me. I would love to go. And I went, and I drank some. I drank like, I don't know, 2 glasses total, because there were 4 different wines and I had half of each of them. But the beautiful thing is, you get to be back in the driver's seat. You get to be making the decisions again. You're no longer drinking out of obligation to other people. You're no longer drinking because you can't handle not drinking. If and when you drink, it's because you want to in that moment, and it's not because you have to. It's not for an escape. It is simply because you just enjoy like the flavors of it. That's it. And the other thing you might realize is that most alcohol tastes terrible. But you've been gulping that shit down because of what you know it'll help you avoid. So, my friend, maybe it's time for you. Maybe it's time now to take a break from drinking. You don't have to have an end date. You can just make it indefinite. Don't know. Eventually I'll come back. I don't know when I want to come back. You don't have to have an explanation with lots of details or anything. I'm doing this because I want to. I want to sign up for this. You can make it as simple as the queer confidence coach Alex told me that my confidence would guarantee to improve if I temporarily stop drinking. That's the only fucking reason I'm doing this. I've decided that I'm going to sign up to feel all the feelings all the way through. And whatever we do, when you make this decision, make it for your growth. Make it for your expansion as a human. This is never out of shame, and it's never because there's something wrong with you. If you haven't been feeling emotion deeply before and you've been using it to buffer, using alcohol or other things to buffer away emotion, great. You're like most people in the world because that is what our human brain likes to do. No shame. Now is your opportunity. Make a decision that's for your growth. Make a decision that brings you more confidence. You will get good at whatever you practice, my friend. Have a fucking phenomenal week. Enjoy Pride Month. Have all the celebration. I love you, and I will see you on the next episode. Bye. If you enjoyed this episode, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend so they too can become more confident. You can also help more people find the show by leaving a 5-star review wherever you listen. And if you want to become a more confident queer with support from yours truly, head to coachalexray.com or use the link down in the show notes. I'm looking forward to working with you.